Sikorsky, and I am the stage manager for the Tahoe Philharmonic. And, that's...
What does that mean? What does a stage manager do?
Well, okay. First of all, assembles the stage and breaks down the stage. I also interact with the locals, so to speak, when we're guests in a church. They want a point of contact, so that would be me. I keep things moving on time. A lot of my job is to be available to troubleshoot because stuff always seems to come up. So, principally setting up the orchestra, breaking it down, and being available for anything else that's needed.
Okay. Do you do anything with the sound, or is that separate?
We are generally not mic'd,
Okay.
so I don't have to do that very often. But if we are, I can do very limited things. I'm not really techno savvy, but basic things I can do. And then James, the conductor, doesn't have to do them.
Okay.
Takes
So
pressure off him.
Take some stuff, off his plate. That's good. How did you become a stage manager?
I don't play an instrument, but I love classical music, and I love the world that produced it. And I think the beauty and the order and the aspiration that the music implies is glorious and lovely and sustaining. So, although I can't play an instrument, I can't produce the music itself, I can create the conditions that put the orchestra at ease, and they can create the music. And I like being part of an organization that sustains beauty across the ages. When we play Bach, who died in 1750, that's almost as old as our country. And it's still valuable and it's still valued. And I hope that link never gets lost. I hope that we can, by playing the music, celebrate the music, and people continue to be edified and simply enjoy the music.
I love that. Because you do, when you sit and you listen to them play, you feel it, and it really does give you joy. It really does, invoke those feelings, those strong emotions. And I love that I would want that to continue, that people, because we went to Urban Roots, and I feel like trying to instill that in children at such a young age will continue to help Bach live on forever. As James says, he's dead, but he still lives on, and I love that.
Yeah. It's the musical equivalent, just to be topical, Christopher Nolan is doing something very similar right now, right? He has filmed an epic that is 3,000 odd years old. Mm-hmm. And, you talk about Urban Roots. I have a version of the Odyssey that was published in 1919, and it's basically aimed at children. It simplifies the stories and tells the plot in a very comprehensible, followable way. And I'm so sorry we don't do that more for literature now. Mm. These are glorious stories. Mm-hmm. I'm really grateful for Nolan for reintroducing that.
Yeah, I love that. How long have you worked with James? It's been a very long time.
Not too long, maybe, I guess about 3 years.
Okay. So I thought you worked with him for a long time.
Well, I met him 20 plus years ago when he started his original orchestra. So I've known him off and on for 20 odd years, but I only started working really consistently and dependably relatively recently. And part of that is James is a all-purpose kind of personality, and he did a lot of stuff by himself. And I think that, in retrospect, It's better for an organization to have more staff and delegate, because that way you don't get completely exhausted by every event.
Yeah.
And, I just noticed him packing stuff up after a concert and schlepping it out to the truck. And I thought, this is ridiculous. The conductor, after a full day of concert making, should not be schlepping. So I offered to do it for him. And the job / relationship sort of grew organically out of that one night. That was a bit of a fluke.
That's great. You just stepped up to the plate. That's great. Now, you guys get here early, right? How early do you get here to set up for a concert?
Depending on the circumstances of the site, it takes about a minimum of a half hour, sometimes an hour, to set things up. So if we have a rehearsal at 3, in theory I could get here at 2, but both James and I like to have things settled. So we usually get here about 2 hours before, and then set up. If it takes us an hour, we have an hour where we can not worry about things, and that's really pleasing. So yeah, my day is much longer than the rest of the orchestra. Of course, I have left to do in the middle, but it usually takes less than an hour to set up. It takes about that long to break down.
Okay.
So I'm here prior and longer.
And what do you think is the most challenging part of being a stage manager?
Oh, without telling tales out of schools, I guess I would have to say the rumors you hear about the artistic temperament, they're mostly true. So part of my job that you can't really define is managing personalities. That's probably the most difficult thing, but it's manageable and it's important. So I'm really, even though that's not in the job description, I'm willing to do it.
And what do you find that is the most rewarding? That'll be our last question for the
there is a euphoria that is contagious after a successful performance. So when you set something up, the musicians are at ease, they're happy, they do something beautiful, they feel accomplished, the audience is thrilled. That's a good feeling.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time to talk with me.
All right.